What's going on, world? Brand new episode of Royal Key there on your screen. I'm your host, George Kill, and I'm here with Bob of DLR Group. You guys had a hand in making this a 2021 stadium. What all went into that?
You're absolutely right. It was built in 1923, National Historic Landmark. There had been renovations over the year, but really nothing for the fans and for premium seating and for suites and clubs. They really wanted to provide an opportunity for their fan and their alumni to have a way and invest in the school. This was privately funded. All of the money for the project that we're going to see was all private fundraising. You know, Los Angeles is the entertainment capital of the world, and there was an entertainment venue here for them to let their fans enjoy. We did something for every fan in the entire stadium. New seats, handrails in the aisles, new video boards so they can watch the game on the video boards and replay, connect to Wi-Fi and experience the game on the phone, better sound system. It was really amping up and making the fans more comfortable, and that energy transfers to the players on the field.
Don, I asked Bob, this place is very significant. When you touch a place like this, it has to be touched in the right way. How do you maintain its originality but still renovate it for the future?
That was a very difficult question and maybe our biggest task. We want this building to always be recognizable as the LA Memorial Coliseum. And we really boiled down this whole addition into three key ideas. One is that the stadium seating bowl was iconic and needed to be preserved. The other is that the perimeter wall all the way around the stadium is what everybody sees from the streets as they walk up to the facility. And then the peristyle. Those three things, we tried to keep them as intact as possible.
All right, Bob, for a 1923 built building, this is a polar opposite.
It's kind of a discreet entry. You walk through that tunnel and you enter this space, which is the lobby to the Jim and Diane Basher Founders Club. So we've got a terrazzo floor, which is a poured floor that's polished. We've got book-matched marble on the elevator, signage that has the core values of USC. This is a lobby for the 20 most exclusive suites in the entire building. From the lobby, you come up the curved staircase and you enter into the lounge where everyone gathers together for food and beverage. So there's bars, there's display kitchens, there's a dessert station. The bar's got beautiful backlit onyx stone. Lighting fixtures are special fixtures. These rings kind of imply the Olympic rings. You've got graphics on one side that show all the terrific games in the history of USC. So we're entering the presidential suite. It's the largest suite in the Coliseum, and it's really for the president. This is a major university for entertaining during game days. Alumni, business partners, other senior administration, deans of the different schools. This is really where the VVIPs are entertained in the Coliseum. The Coliseum had always been about outdoor sports. There was never a significant indoor space for entertainment. So now it's opened up a whole new business for the Coliseum and a new venue for USC for banquets, for receptions, for business meetings, for weddings, any indoor reception they can now provide to the community.
And one other thing, you guys changed every seat in the stadium. Every single seat.
It used to be wood benches and now they're armchair seats, they're wider. They've got cup holders, and so everybody's more comfortable in the bowl. You get that single color all the way around the bowl, and it's incredible. And one of the other things we added handrails in the stairs. The Coliseum is really steep up at the top for great sight lines to the field, but they didn't have handrails, and so it's a lot safer. It's a lot easier to move up and down having a handrail.
So as we enter one of the founder suites, you can see that there's a variety of seating opportunities. There's food and beverage counters. Suite holders have a choice of selecting the graphics that go on the wall. And the window walls at the front of the suite have the ability to be closed on a bad weather day or completely wide open on what are most of the days for football season in Southern California. Really unique features that we have in these suites is there's a table that is actually a carved Coliseum model with a glass top over it. And then the 20 seats outside, which are the primary seats intended for viewing the game, are super high quality. They're as nice a suite as you could find in the highest end theater or the highest end suite. There are multiple full service kitchens here in the founders levels. They can order food off of a menu in their suite and have it brought in, or they can come out and socialize, order food, and they will pretty much prepare any custom thing that the customers are actually looking for that day. And virtually everything in here is custom lighting fixtures, sconces on the walls. Everything has a really nice, really high-end custom touch to it. This is sort of the middle level of the new premium amenities that were added, where there are loge boxes and club seats outside viewing the events. And those people have access into this area that we're standing in, the Galen Club. We wanted it to be a really flexible space that allowed it to be used in a lot of different ways so they could capture as much use every day of the year.
Now everything looks like super brand new, but there's one part of it that is very noticeable, and that's just the originality here.
When we put this space, it's called the Scholarship Tower, into the Coliseum, we literally had to cut out about 8,000 seats. And so we tried to preserve as much of that existing structure. So in the background, you can see the beams that hold the seating above and beyond where we're standing now are still there. So we wanted to have that as a reminder of the character and that this is part of the Coliseum. It's not just this hotel that's attached to the building. On this level, level 5, this is the general suite level. There are a variety of different suite sizes here, from 30 plus seats down to a more typical 12-seat suite. The end suites have outdoor decks and 180-degree views from them, which are really fantastic. This level is appointed well with communal gathering spaces outside the suites. Not only can you be in the suite, but there are bars outside that you can come out and have a drink separately with your friends. The suites themselves have chafing dishes, refrigerators, soft furniture, farm tables in them, and then of course the suites and the viewing areas looking out onto the field. Like a lot of facilities in the building, they're planned to be used on non-game days to get as much value and revenue generation out of them as possible. But on this level, there's a meeting room and some lounge spaces. The university uses them, general public, they're available on a rental basis.
Okay, Don, we talked about the integrity of the space and maintaining the Memorial Coliseum. I know there were talks about possibly putting the viewing tower on the outside instead of the inside. What ultimately came to putting it right here where it is?
We had to consider the impact that this whole tower would have on those character-defining features. And we determined that this 160-yard long building, if it was outside, would essentially take up the entire south facade and make it not look like the Coliseum anymore. But it also put all these higher quality premium viewing products closer to the field.
And then additionally, this club lounge right here on the rooftop. Explain that and what happens here.
The name came from the birth date of the Coliseum, 1923. We just took advantage of the height and the position. So there's 160 yards of field-facing viewing at the front of this, and then lounge and seating space behind. So this will hold up to 500 people. And it's set up as sort of a contemporary space to be like a lot of the hotel rooftop kind of environments or bars in LA. So it's attractive to that non-game day user group as well.
Now, Jose, the Coliseum, when it was originally built, it was not built to thrive in this community and make this, uplift this community. But in its current state right now and what we're sitting in and standing in right now, how is it going to develop and update the city around it?
The Coliseum is the pride and joy of the community. I mean, it's been here, it's a historical landmark, so many great events. It's been an inspiration for people like Keyshawn Johnson was a ball boy for USC, living in South Central LA, looking at the Coliseum as the place he wanted to be, and he ended up playing here, playing the NFL. From entertainers, from other kind of people that visited, from the Olympics, Olympic athletes that have been inspired. So I think it's always kind of been that inspiration. But it's also a gateway. USC and the Coliseum are a gateway to downtown, gateway to the west side. And I think from the communities here, it's always kind of been that point of entrance, not only as a historical piece, but because of its foothold here as a part of the community through USC.
The community, it actually kind of brings me into the 3 C's of real estate and how you guys incorporated it here. Explain those.
Curate, culture, community. Those are a bit of an ethos for us and how we approach projects. One is curating experiences, reimagining culture, and building community. So easily by curating experiences is, again, creating those spaces that people can come, creating those social hubs that weren't existent before. The Coliseum was a place that you came to watch a game, but it didn't have a lot of there or reasons to kind of linger or get here early or stay a little bit late. Those have been created through the club lounge, through the 1923 clubs, through even areas as you kind of lead up into the Coliseum as well. Reimagining that culture in a way that allowed people to kind of feel a sense of community was key, which again builds that community aspect of it. Without the Coliseum, does everything else come into play too? Does LAFC get built? Does the George Lucas Museum? There's things things beyond here that allows you to stay here and spend a whole day, a whole weekend that is beyond what was originally planned. It's a stadium for the Olympics, or a stadium for a football game, and back then a baseball game. There's stuff for kids, there's stuff for families, there's things for adults and date nights. It's a place for people to come together and just enjoy a day.
Okay, Jeff, being the senior construction manager of this project, a 100-year-old project, describe the elements of working with this project compared to working with a fairly new project.
The distinction between a ground-up construction and renovation of an existing facility is night and day. One, the building is usually occupied, so now you have to figure out how am I going to do this work while it's occupied and being used. The other is you have existing conditions. As in anything we do, it's understanding the goal, managing the process, and being ready to be adaptable to any conditions that we find. We started literally the day after the Rams were done with their playoff game in January. We literally came in that next morning and started the demolition. For the first 8 months, since we knew the season for both the Rams and the USC started in end of August, we had roughly 8 months to get us into a position to get the demolition done and to create a temporary facility that would house the press box, the coaches, and the things that they normally happen in there. So we literally started working 6 days a week, 20 hours a day for 8 months to get us into that position.
The Olympics are coming here in 2028, right? What is going to be the differences of what we're seeing right now to when it's 2028 and, you know, we're prepping for the Olympics?
So you're right, the Olympics coming in 28 is very exciting. It'll be the third time that the Coliseum has hosted it. So there's going to be a lot of changes. There's going to be a lot that you don't see that are in the background. But the most significant change you're going to see is the track surface. And so where we're standing right now, the track's going to be above us about 14 feet. We need to expand the area to put the track in. So we're going to build a platform, put the track on it, and then the athletes will use that as their surface. It'll go about 15 rows up from us, from the field here. So that's the most significant thing you're going to see.
Not only did you guys renovate this area, but I also think you guys kind of unmasked the entry point, the archway.
The peristyle is one of the most well-known. It's the thing that you see on every TV view, postcards, pictures. It's part of the logo of the facility as it's advertised throughout the world as the greatest stadium in the world. So it is definitely the most iconic part. And over the years, it had started to become a big advertising banner. It had scoreboards, it had beer signs, video boards on it. To preserve that, we stripped all of that and literally took it back to its original condition, repaired the travertine stone that's on it, worked on some lighting schemes to enhance it, make it look as good as possible, but really just taking it back to its essence and its original purity and beauty. There is a mural painted on the underside of the peristyle center arch, and that was done 40 or 50 years ago, and it had just sat and it was in a little bit of disrepair. But the Coliseum went through pretty exhaustive effort to go find that original artist, and ultimately through his family, they found somebody that could actually restore that, and they repainted that before the opening, and it's a gorgeous element.